Hello and welcome to part 6 of this review, and in this final part here I want to talk about the game's profitability. Now this might be a weird point to make, but it actually makes a lot of sense considering that it's a pretty big reason why the game is currently in the state that it is right now, and that's because the devs had to stop working on the game. And they had to stop working on the game because they couldn't make enough money to afford to keep working on the game. Alright, and why couldn't they afford to keep working on it? Well, that answer is a bit complicated. Let me explain. Now, I could be wrong here, but from back when Slowclap was working on the game to when they had to when they announced they had to stop to work on a different project, it seemed to me that they relied too heavily on the community to market their game, and that kind of didn't work out too well, because you see, the thing is, marketing the game, right? That was really their job, alright? And I know they made trailers for the game and all that, but after the game had launched, right, they had kind of just left the community to just sell the game for them, to market their game. They were all tell your friends about it, you know, like spread the word, you know, get the word out, talk about it on the internet and whatnot, you know. And you know, we did do all that. Alright, we talked about the game, we played the game, we streamed the game, we made content of the game on YouTube. We did all that. We did the best we could, and it wasn't enough. Like, I'm not sure whether it wasn't in the budget to keep marketing the game themselves, or they thought they had done enough, but like, you know, selling the game it's your job, Slowclap, to sell the game. It's not the community's job. It's your job, Slowclap. It's because we as a community, our tiny little community, we can only do so much. Alright? We can only do so much. You are a small indie game dev studio, right? Making it a fresh new IP that barely anybody has ever heard of, and you relied on the community to sell your game. At least that's what it seems to me, at least. And you know, I mean, you know, looking back at that now, it's no wonder that this game couldn't reach a wider audience when it began, especially on launch. Like, that launch was really rough. I wasn't there at the very beginning. I was there like a month or two later, but like, even then it was rough, man. Like, first impressions are everything, and you know, that kind of hurt the game's like image, because it was, oh boy, it was something when it first came out. It had a ton of issues. A lot of those issues have been fixed, but yeah, you know, it again, like, its first initial issues, rather, a lot of them have been fixed, but like, yeah, that kind of hurt the game's image. That kind of put people off, you know. There's still a lot of things that are going to put people off currently, but like, I can fairly say that it definitely isn't as bad as it was before. Like, some of us stuck around and stayed, others left, some over time, others pretty immediately. But like, yeah, you know, like, I think there should have been more of an effort to keep marketing the game on Slowclap's part. Alright, like, we're a small community. The community that you do have, right? There's only so much we can do. Only so much. So, especially for an indie game like this, right? Again, you're a small indie studio, you know, with a fresh IP, and you expect your small community to sell your game. Like, yeah, there was no way that was gonna work out. I'm sorry. We did with the best we could. We tried. Hell, you know, some of us, we're still trying. All right. But like, yeah, I don't think the way they handled this was the way to go. Like, there could have been more stuff that could have been done. Maybe I'm not sure, honestly. But yeah, I don't think that was a good idea to rely on such a small community to market the game like that. Like after I know they've put out some trailers and whatnot, you know, at the beginning, like just like 1 or 2 or something, and they did like another trailer for the Downfall update. But like it's mainly on the devs to sell their game. All right, it's not the community's job. It's the devs' job. It's your job, Slowclap. We tried. Trust us. We tried. All right. But yeah. Another thing I think hurt this game's profitability was Slowclap's reluctance to release paid DLC. They eventually did in that New Forest DLC, I think it's called, which was cosmetics and cost like $2 or $3, but it was only that one, and it came way too late, I think, in the time that they were working on the game. So like, yeah, Slowclap they didn't want to go the paid DLC route at all. They just wanted to work on the game, expand on it, and anything they added they just put in the game for free. And you know, while I really do admire that they had so much passion for their game and for the community, Slowclap as an indie studio, like, you cannot afford to be so noble. You couldn't afford it. So like that, you know, to just keep releasing stuff for free, you know, expansions and cosmetics, I think ultimately hurt us all in the long run. I think that if Slowclap really I think Slowclap should have gone that route with the paid DLC to give its community ways to just financially support them, you know, because I'm sure you realize that you need money to work on the game, right? Like, I'm sure we all know this. So I mean, I don't think Slowclap realized that it wasn't enough to just get people to buy their game, right? Or whether through their marketing or by getting us to spread the word about the game. Like, I don't think they realized it wasn't enough to keep working on the project in the long run, you know, because it wasn't profitable. They needed to give the community a way to financially support them. Like, Slowclap, you have to let us support you, all right? The community that you do have. You may not have had like a widely successful game, like a big following, but you did have a community, and to not let us like give you our money was a big misstep. All right. Again, I appreciate what you were trying to do, but it just ended up backfiring. It didn't work out for you. It didn't work out for us. So I think we should have had paid DLC, you know, pretty early on, and the expansion should have been paid as well. The Downfall expansion with the dungeons and shit, that should have been paid DLC, in my opinion. Like, as far as the dungeon mode goes, right, and you know, for some cosmetics, looking back, those should have been DLC. I'm not saying make the styles and the new style and the new attacks DLC. No, those can remain free. Like, just let me just to clarify some things. Like, because I hate it when a fighting game like releases a new DLC character and you can't figure out how to play against that character. You may not want to play that character, but you're forced to basically, in order to learn how to play against that character, you have to buy that character. Like, I hate that. I think that should change, and like, I don't want that for Absolver. I don't think the new styles or the new attacks should be paid DLC as well. I think the way it should be is that, like, if you want to unlock it through the downfall mode, you have to pay for the downfall mode, expansion, right? But the style itself, like, you can learn that for free if you like join a school, or maybe like join a school of somebody who did pay for the downfall update and learn in the new attack, like learn a new attack through the school, or have somebody teach you, right? But if you want to play the downfall dungeon stuff, you have to pay for that, right? But yeah, like the expansions and more cosmetic DLC, that should be paid. Let us give you our money, Slow Clap, so that we can support you, so that you can keep working on the game, okay? Because I appreciate it. I know you don't want to be like all these other companies that kind of exploit their player base, right, for money, right? I understand that completely. All right, I think it's admirable what you tried to do, but like, in this business, you kind of have to be a little scummy, especially if you're a little studio, Like, you can't afford not to be. All right, I think it's perfectly fine. We all understand this, right? We want to support you because we want your game to do well. We want you to do well, right? So, and like, give us even more stuff, like, besides the, I don't know, besides the cosmetics and expansions, maybe bear with me when I say this, all right? Bear with me when I say this. Maybe implement like a microtransaction for the crystals and fragments, all right? Like, that nasty word, macrotransaction, but like, just hear me out. Like, it can just be like a glorified donation button, all right? That's it. Just to help support you as a studio, right? Like, let me tell you something. In other fighting games, they release a season pass for new DLC characters, right? And people buy them not knowing whether or not they're going to like these new characters, right? When they eventually come out, like, they don't know if they're gonna like any of them, or if they're even going to put in time for like one or two of them, right? But they buy the season passes anyway, and that's because, number one, you never know, but because they just buy them because right? Because they want the new stuff, but also because they want to support the devs. So, like, Slow Clap, you gotta give us stuff to buy, okay? So we could support you. That's really my main thing that I was getting at. So, yeah, and I think that's all I gotta say about that. I guess it's about time I wrap this up now, this whole review. So, to summarize, this game's tutorial is just not very good. It communicates its concepts pretty poorly, at least in my opinion. Getting around an Absolver is a pain because the map is not helpful at all, really. The process of building your own deck by learning moves is super grindy and not fun. The frame data is inaccurate. Some things about the powers and the styles need to be balanced better, because they're like, especially the styles and the state that they're in, it's this very little balance. And some things about the training mode, almost forgot about that. Training mode, very lackluster, and some things about the online, right? It just it needs to be improved and and fixed up and stuff. Like the netcode and all that, man. Like, Absolver is just a real piece of work. It's a literal gold mine, but it needs so much work. It has so much potential, and it just really frustrates me that it may not ever reach it. This is a truly amazing game. It really is. The combat and the depth alone, and the customization too, they're what really make this game. It's why I keep coming back to it, despite all these issues, So, like, if I had to give this game a rating, right, for this review, I give it a 6.5. It's quite good, but it's still garbage, alright? And if you're wondering how a good game can be garbage, well, look, those two aren't mutually exclusive, alright? Like, being a bad game and being garbage, a garbage game doesn't mean that it's just straight up bad, alright? I know it can be really kind of confusing, and it sounds baffling, and I know that, but, like, bear with me, alright? Just try to understand with me, right? Like, it can happen, though, alright? It can happen. It can absolutely be that there's some garbage aspects about a game, but there's some really good aspects of it that it still manages to shine through, even though, and shine through and make the game good, right? Even though there's a lot of trash things about a game. So, like, yeah, even though it has a lot of garbage things about it, Absolver is still pretty good. Still pretty good for what it offers in terms of combat and depth and customization. Like, it's pretty good, but a lot of things about it, are just bad, and it just drags it down, things that need to be worked on, serious issues, alright? Like, I'm not joking. That camera and the frame data and like, oh my god, and so many other things, it just needs to get worked on.
Yeah, there's just some fuckery that goes on with the game. It's shitty and unfair, but you gotta learn how to like recognize it,
It's a damn shame, really, that things turned out the way they did, but like, but I'm still thankful that this game exists. I truly am, because it's just, for what it does do well, it does really fucking well, it's really amazing, right? So, yeah, I know this whole review's been pretty negative, alright, but again, like, this is something I've just been wanting to do, and it's been nagging at me, because the things that bother me about this game really do fucking bother me, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't stay silent. I had to get this out of my system, alright? So, like, I know I was being very negative, and I apologize for that, but this was something I had to do for the sake of my sanity, okay? So, like, cut me some slack, alright? And, like, like, if you want to hear some positive things about the game, because I know I've been pretty damn negative about it, like, this, go watch, what's his face? Mark Climpius's, video about, Absolver.
We finally made it 4 years since Absolver dropped in 2017, and it's been a hell of a ride, y'all. There have been a lot of faces that have come and gone, but if you're watching this, then there's a good chance you still give a shit about this little custom indie fighter. Whether it's for the expressiveness of its combat deck and stances system, the wealth of masks and fashion options, or just a couple of really good sets with people you go toe-to-toe with. There's no game that will scratch that primordial itch that you feel when you need to beat someone's ass over the internet.
It's not gonna happen if I'm not playing the goddamn game!
And let me tell you, I understand. I remember Absolver's release. It reminded me that I was super hyped for For Honor, a game that I still have never played. And it reminded me that I was always looking for a third-person action fighting game. I love it. For about 3 years I've been streaming Absolver, and I didn't bother in those early days, but when the category was dwindling on Twitch, and when the community lacked any sort of pillar, I thought to take up the mantle of the people's champ. And it's been fun! It's been great! Honestly, I got the idea from Bobby Scar in the Super Smash Bros. Melee community first. I thought there was something so exciting about Scar's gregariousness, and how he used his larger-than-life personality to bring his community together to celebrate just how sick his favorite game was. And so I took that idea and I ran with it. I did what Bobby did. I became the people's champ of Absolver. And I sought to make things that people would drop their jaws at. Absolver turns 4 today. And I'm thankful that I'm still playing it. I'm thankful that I can still tell people I meet that I play this little indie fighter made by a small French studio called Slow Clap.
I know that video is old. It's about Absolver being 4 years old, but in that video, you know, there's a lot of positive things that be about it, like that Amor Climpius goes over. So go watch that video, and also go watch Justice's video. It's a bit more recent about should you play Absolver in 2022, and it goes over some more positive aspects of the game there as well.
If you haven't had the chance to play Absolver and you're into martial arts, this is pretty much a must-buy, especially considering it goes on sale very often for only 5 V-Bucks. And if you are still not convinced, I asked some Absolver veterans for what they like about the game, and this is what they said.
It's like super simple. Like it's 2 buttons you press, right? Your sequence and your alternative, and I feel like it was like really easy to pick up when I was first learning.
Combat mechanics just feel great. There's a nice flow in the game, and it's kind of unique. So it's an experience.
It's an accessible fighting game. If you ever wanted to play like fighting games, it's essentially the fighting game for people who don't play fighting games. You don't have to learn complex combos. You don't have to learn a bunch of block strings. You mostly just build a deck and start pressing one of 2 buttons, which I think is really, really great, and I think it's what makes Absolver like super approachable.
Like you get to do something that no other game really lets you do, and that's completely customize your fighter to the point where like they are, I guess, an extension or another version of yourself that knows Kung Fu.
So yeah, links to those videos will be in the description below when I add them in later. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching this whole review. Like if you watch all of it, like I know I am not the best speaker. I'm a better reviewer, you know, would have done better, would have articulated the points made in this video a whole lot better, and probably made it a lot shorter too. But you know, I did what I could. I did my best. I don't normally do this kind of thing, and I don't plan on doing it in the future, unless, you know, there's another game like Absolver that just really pisses me off, but I still really like as well, but like I doubt it, you know. But yeah, like thanks for just bearing with me. I know I'm not the best speaker, so like if you've made it this far, I truly do appreciate it. Thank you so much, honestly. And yeah, that's about gonna do it for me, y'all. I mean, from this point onward, I don't think I'm gonna have to cut back on the Absolver content once again. Like I know I've cut back in the past, but I'm gonna have to do it again, just again for the sake of my sanity, so I don't just get frustrated with this game, because as much as I like it, it really does frustrate me quite a lot, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna be cutting back even more, so I apologize if that's what you want to see from this channel, but I've been playing this game for a long ass time. I need to, you know, I need to you know, once again, I need more breaks. All right, I need more time to just recover from stuff that annoys me about this game, because my patience for this game has really run really dry at this point. So yeah, but that's just me. All right. And you know, if you got through this whole thing, you don't have to agree with everything I said. Again, this is all my opinion, so you know, take it with a grain of salt and all that. Like, if you really disagree with me, you know, like, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, really. You know, so, I mean, this is all just my take. You know, I said that as in the first part, so you know. If I missed anything, let me know. If you want to talk about stuff about the game that you feel that I was wrong on, you know, go ahead and leave a comment below. You know, I don't mind the discussion. Again, you know, it's all opinion based anyway, and the game's dead anyway, so. Well, I don't want to say dead. It's on live support. It's almost dead. Okay, so, you know, it's doing all right. Like, well, not alright, but you know, there's still some new players coming around every now and then. I still see new faces every now and then, so that's something at least. It's not completely dead. Still dead, but not completely. So, I've rambled on long enough. That's it for me for real this time, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace, y'all. Have a good one.